Oh, yes, indeed. We're back, baby. I hope you missed me, 'cause I sure missed you, folks. We're not here last week. I had to deal with some annoying stuff at work, but we're here again, entertaining the masses with our high voltage rock music, ladies and gentlemen. It's what we use to ameliorate ourselves from the forces of evil that try to ruin our lives and keep us bored out of our skulls. My name is Zach Hval, singer, songwriter, guitar player extraordinaire. Would appreciate you subscribing to the YouTube channel. I've got some instructional material planned. I haven't forgot about it. I've just been extraordinarily busy doing this record, which is now completed. We have completed principal recording, shall we say, of the new album, and we released a single for you. I say we, it's just me, last Friday, called Beatnik Trousers. If you've been tuning into this very program, you've heard it a number of times. You've actually got to see me kind of create that song in real time. Can you dig that type of activity, ladies and gentlemen? Can you dig those types of proclivities? Would appreciate you giving that a stream on Apple Music, Spotify, Amazon, wherever you listen to it. That can be heard. I'm about to do it here soon. But Starbucks is racist again. Have you seen this? Have you guys read about this? So Starbucks is racist again. That's the first time that they were racist. It was back a few years ago. I don't know if anybody remembers this, but these two patrons of Starbucks just happened to be black. Why are they black, Zach? Because they were. I'll tell the story. Shut up. And this the manager of the Starbucks decided that she didn't really want those type of people, if you know what I mean, and I believe that you do, loitering around the lobby. And so she called the police, and the police came, and these guys didn't really get arrested because there was really no charges to be pressed against these two fine gentlemen who were just minding their own business at the Starbucks. But what ended up happening was that a bunch of Starbucks coffee shops across the nation had to undergo this bizarre racial sensitivity training. Well, now some participants of said racial sensitivity training have now sued Starbucks, and somewhat, if I remember correctly, somewhat successfully, for racism against white people. Folks, Starbucks is for pretending like you have a writing career, okay, for selling junk on Etsy, and for meeting your friends. Listen, I have a standing appointment. I go to Starbucks for sure weekly, if not bi-weekly, worst case scenario, and I'm ashamed to admit this. But I'm at a stage in my life where I've just got to stop hiding from things. I go to Starbucks, folks. I do it. I get the coffees. And you know how many times I've met friends at Starbucks, not gotten coffee, and been arrested for loitering? 0! I go there to mind my own business and hang out with my friends. You know, and it's just like, Starbucks also used to be for, weird beard hipsters that have, speaking of beards, they have worse facial hair than I do. They wear flannel all year long, and they drink crappy IPAs and try to tell you to listen to their cousin Lucas's lo-fi indie band. They're usually a name like Zyler or something like that, and when Donald Trump got elected, they tried to tell you that we were headed for some sort of dystopian society, and that's another thing that bothers me. Every article for like the last 7 years related to politics has had the word dystopian mentioned somewhere. Stop saying dystopian, okay? If you have time to write an article and publish it on Twitter or something like that, we're not in a dystopia, folks. A dystopia is like the bottom of the barrel, like the worst of the worst, right? You can see them, it's not that you can't, with a well-timed Google search, find a dystopia. North Korea is a good example, or San Francisco right now, okay? Like, you can find these examples, okay? You don't have to manufacture them, because the idea of, Donald Trump or Joe Biden, for that matter, having the brain power to preside over anything with an iron fist but at the airport, Wendy's dollar menu is hilarious to me. So stop saying dystopian. Where is it going with this? I'm out of control. Yeah, so it's just like, mind your own business. Let people drink coffee in peace. Leave Zyler alone, okay? I'm from the Northwest here. We invented wearing flannel all year, okay? I don't care if it's 90 degrees outside. It's crazy. Can't believe it. It's like, you live long enough to see the same set of circumstances repeat themselves. To quote George Lucas, the creator of Star Wars, it's like poetry. It rhymes. But anyways, we're going to do a little bit of music. How's that sound? Speaking of which, speaking of dystopians, in 1985 is the title of this crappy IPA that this guy with a crappy beard is going to drink tonight. Folks, it was a rough day. It's a 2-beer night for the Z-Man. But we'll do one from the new record we've been having fun with here on this mighty program. We're going to do a little bit of that Sinister Shuffle here. The new and improved backing track for the Sinister Shuffle to give you a taste of that record. Can you dig it? Etc., etc. Something like that. The Sinister Shuffle, folks. A mean version of that can be heard on my new record, which will be announced at some point in the not-too-distant future. How are you going to find out about this new record, you might ask? Well, you just keep tuning in right here to this very presentation, or you follow me on the Instagram, the TikToks, even, that's another thing. The closer I get to 30, the more I've kind of just accepted that people aren't going to take me seriously. I've given up hoping that people will take me seriously. Maybe I should say it that way. As a guy, listen, I went into the office today wearing this exact outfit. I got bell bottoms on. Total 70s dad, and nobody said anything, but I could kind of tell that I'd hit either a new high or a new low. Speaking of new highs, we're going to talk a little bit about that. We're not going to talk about it. I don't know why I said that. Forget I said that. We're going to play a little bit of that Beatnik Trousers. Now, if you don't like this version, say I completely screwed up. There's a version that I did not screw up because I'm a complete psychopath when it comes to recording things and a perfectionist, and you can hear a version of this that is doggone near perfect. Right now on iTunes, Spotify, you name it. We're going to do a little bit of that Beatnik Trousers. Yes, that's the word we're looking for. Good old beatnik trousers. That's what I'm wearing. I decided for months, ladies and gentlemen, I could not figure out even what I myself meant by beatnik trousers. Then I bought this pair of bell-bottom jeans, and it suddenly dawned on me. I get it now. I get it now. Here's a little bit of a funky number we call Funkify Your Mind. By no means, ladies and gentlemen, is it the funkiest number that appears on the new record, which will be announced in the not-too-distant future. I get to try out a new effect. I spent a fair penny on this, but it was worth it. For the Neo Instruments, a German company, Minivent. Just to, because I don't want to buy an organ. I can't, and I don't know how to really play the organ. Anyways, this song in its recorded form sounds glorious. A song called Funkify Your Mind. Yeah, that feels good. Unlike drowning yourself. It's all part of the show, folks. Well. We've had a little bit of that shuffly blues music. We've had a little bit of that rock musics. And we've had a little bit of that funks musics. But what we haven't had properly yet is a little bit of that good old-fashioned backcountry blues music. Yeah, so we got that music we call blues. And everybody from every so often, they have the blues. Can you dig it? Doesn't matter what you call them. I sometimes like to call them the purple, because I got the purple Telecaster, but that's besides the point, because everybody from here to Timbuktu has had the blues. And I'll fight anybody in the parking lot, at the playground after school, or my mom's house that disagrees with me. I'll fight them from the Indies to the Andes and MeUndies. Can you dig it? See, blues is more than just a feeling. It's in the bottom of your shoes. It's in the top of your rapidly balding head. It's every time that you waved at somebody because they thought that they were waving at you, but it was actually the person behind you that they were waving at. Can you dig it? It's every time you popped a balloon and accidentally scared yourself. It's every time you told everybody at the office that you were going to be at the church potluck and that you were going to bring a full head of lettuce and didn't show up. It's that time that girl thought you were flirting with her, but you just had nervous gas. That's the blues, ladies and gentlemen. Sounds a little bit like... I don't even know, folks. Half the time I just say these things, and I'm surprised by them. As I once described it to a colleague a number of years ago, it's like the thoughts in my brain are like a hive of bees, and every so often a bee comes out to go and get the nectar. Do with that information what you will. Let's do a little bit of psychedelic fun. A lot of original material tonight. I feel like the last couple of times we've been gathering here in the battlefield of Sweet Musical Congress, been lacking in the original material department. It's because I'm trying to hoard that stuff on the instrumental record. You know, just because I don't want to ruin it for you here on the live stream. But I want to get you excited for it, you know. And I think, Beatnik Trousers is a pretty exciting tune. But on this new record, you'll hear chicken picking, nostril picking, there'll be funky guitar foo, there'll be gratuitous Bible references, if you'll know it when you see it. What else did I throw at you? Psychedelic guitar foo, all sorts of foos and fun and funk and cheese for your listening and dining pleasure. That's right, we serve up a chicken fried gospel piping hot, much to the food poisoning of some of you, but be that as it may, I'm willing to sacrifice it. I'll do a little bit of this fun song that's technically only got one guitar chord to it, so I have to really use my imagination when I want to shtoddle over it. A song called Samantha's Lullaby. I hope you'll enjoy it. With a little bit of fun at the end. Why not? You never know what happens. You never know what happens when you're farting around in the key of E. Hey, how about a little bit of Neil Young? We haven't bothered Uncle Neil for a while. You know, for a Canadian, he sure is pretty angry. Do a little bit of those bar stool blues. Just pretend that you can hear that old pool hall clanking in the background. I could hold on to just one thought for long enough to know why my mind is moving so fast and the conversation is slow. Burn off all the fog and let the sun through to the snow. Let me see your face again before I have to go. I have seen you in the movies and in those magazines at night. I saw you on the bar stool when you held that glass so tight. I see you in my nightmares, and I'll see you in my dreams. And I might live 1,000 years before I know what that means. Once there was a friend of mine, he died 1,000 deaths. His life was filled with parasites and countless idle threats. He trusted in a woman, and on her he made his bet. Once there was a friend of mine, he died 1,000 deaths. Barstool Blues by Uncle Neil, as I like to call him, released on the 1975 album Zuma, which I believe is named after a street somewhere in Los Angeles, California. Perhaps the most commercial sounding of all of Neil Young's albums. Let's see, it's the second outing he did with his ensemble Crazy Horse, and I'll tell you, the rhythm guitarist Frank Pancho San Pedro famously said that Neil Young doesn't play as good, nearly as good, with anybody else as he does with the horse, and I'm inclined to agree with that sentiment. I don't know exactly how many, so there's about, I think he's got to be pushing 50 albums at this point, and only a small fraction of those records are done with Crazy Horse. Case in point, the first Crazy Horse album, now this is where things get confusing, so stay with me. If you need to write a piece of paper, grab it now. But Neil Young's debut album comes out in 1968. In 1969, his second album comes out, but it's the first album with Crazy Horse backing him as his band. However, the original rhythm guitarist, Danny Whitten, would OD on heroin during that same tour, I believe, just before 1970. Then Neil Young does After the Gold Rush, which is more that hippie country folk thing, and then he follows that up with Harvest, and then you skip another record or two, if my memory serves me correct, and then you get to 1975, where he brings back Crazy Horse for the second album with Crazy Horse, but it's like his fifth album overall. Is anybody? My head is spinning. You know, that's why, you know, the argument is that Neil Young, you know, uses bands as stepping stones, and you can kind of see it. Let's do a little bit. I haven't done this since like February. Do a little bit of ZZ Top for the boomers, because everything else has been for the kids. I got a brother in Texas. I wonder if he's found this place yet. You know what I'm talking about. Just let me know if you want to go to that home out on the range. They got a lot of nice squirrels there. Ha ha ha. I hear it's tight most every night. Then again, I might be mistaken. If you got the town, get yourself in. Yeah, something like that. That song's kind of a nightmare if you think about it. Oh, yeah, we're going to get a little bit grapey here. Let's pretend that didn't happen. Do a little bit of that Welch's Grape on a purple guitar, no less. By the great sage and giant from Wisconsin way, Greg Koch, who'll be in town here in just a few weeks' time. I'm going to go see him, get a great guitar lesson, and maybe have a good story to tell later on. Tune in for that. Anyways, this song is called Welch's Grape, a fine beverage, though I prefer Crystal Light these days, trying to watch my figure. I got to stay hot for Dua Lipa. You think I was going to make it an entire stream, did you, without mentioning Dua Lipa? And you expect me to take you seriously. A little bit of Welch is great for you. Or my interpretation of it. Hey, let's do another song by a guitar hero of mine, who also likes the color purple, but of a hazy nature. Hey Joe, where you going with that gun in your hand? Hey Joe, I said where you going with that gun in your hand? Going down to shoot my old lady. You know I caught her messing around town. Going down to shoot my old lady. You know I kinda messing around with another man. Going down to shoot my old lady. Kinda messing around town. Hey Joe, I heard you shot your woman down. Hey Joe, I heard you shot your woman down, shot her down. Yes, I did, I shot her, caught her messing around with another man. The same old story. Hey Joe, where you gonna run to now? Hey Joe, I say where you gonna run to now? Going way down south, way down where I can be free. Ain't no hangman gonna put a rope around me. Hey Joe, been doing that one since I was a wee lad of just 13 years old. It's actually not a Hendrix original, contrary to what you might believe. Ripped it off of a folk singer named Billy Roberts, who nobody remembers because Hendrix basically owns that song. I like the Roy Buchanan version of it as well, so I like to fuse both of those together when I do it, because there's no such thing as original music no more. Pardon the noise, things are about to get sinister as we end, as we sometimes like to do here, with a little tune of mine called Frankie's Barstool. Something like that. Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for tonight's transmission. Thank you so much for tuning in on a Tuesday night, or whatever night it is. If you're watching this not on Tuesday night because you're watching a re-upload or a rebroadcast or something like that, this was live now, but at a particular moment in time, it might not be live. We'll still be live next week, though, which is the 27th of June. Can you dig it? With some type of activities, some type of festivities. Until then, make sure that you follow me on the Instagram. You subscribe to the YouTube. There's all sorts of exciting stuff happening here. You can hardly believe it. My pending marriage to Dua Lipa could be announced any minute. And why would you want to miss that? Until next time, I'm Zach Hval, reminding you that the fastest animal on Earth, with a top speed of 120 feet per second, is a bull moose that's been dropped out of a helicopter. Bread is bread, cheese is cheese, praise God. I've been watching a lot of The Bachelor lately, so it reminded me of this joke. So a man in Alabama is trying to find a wife. And he's got three options, but three ladies to choose from. So he goes to the bank, and he gets out $15,000 and gives each of them $5,000 apiece to spend on however they please. And the first girl, she does a complete makeover. She spends $5,000 on a whole new wardrobe, fancy makeup and perfume, and she comes up to him and says, "Look, I spent all this money to make myself look so beautiful for you because I love you so much." And the man is actually impressed that this young lady would take the time to figure out, how to impress him that way. But he's still got two other suitors to choose from. So the next girl, well, she spends all the money on him. She spends $5,000 on a brand new set of golf clubs, a couple of nice shirts, some watches there. And she said, "I spent all of this money on you just to prove to you how much I love you." And the man is impressed, and he cherishes all these gifts and ponders them in his heart. But there's still yet another dame for him to see what's up with. And this young lady, well, she invests the money in the stock market, and she then takes the earnings she's made in the stock market and opens up a savings account, and she comes to him and says, "Look, I redoubled your money, and I put it in a savings account for our future just to show you how much I love you and how serious I am about you." And the man, he decides to sleep on it, and then he picks the one with the biggest boobs. I would pick the third girl and hope for the latter, if you know what I mean, and I think you do. Zach Hval. We'll see you next time.